Hey guys, I've got no display on my monitor right now. It's just like a lock screen.
Yours is downstairs.
Hey guys, I've got no display on my monitor. It's on a lock screen, so someone's gonna have to cue me when you want me to start. Thank you. Guys, let me know when I'm good to go. Thank you. All right, good morning, soccer fans, and welcome to the highly anticipated 2024 Ontario Soccer Provincial Xcel Under 15 Boys Ontario-Québec Series. I'm your commentator, Nico Cardarelli, and we are thrilled to bring you live coverage of this prestigious competition. Whether you're cheering from the stands at the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center Stadium Field or tuning in from home via our Match Center and live stream, get ready for a day of thrilling soccer action as the best young talent from Ontario and Quebec go head-to-head in pursuit of glory. This should be an absolute banger of a match as we get ready in the boys under 15 division with Quebec in the gray kits working left to right across your screen, taking on the home squad from Ontario in the red kits with a little black trim, some white numbers on the back. They'll be defending the goal to our camera right, and it'll be Quebec kicking us off. Ontario coming out in a 4-4-2. Quebec looking maybe more like a 4-3-3, but same thing. It's going to shift 4-4-2. Couple of the wingers pushing up right now. That's the beauty of having some of the coaches up here in the booth with me. They correct me when I'm wrong, and I appreciate that as we get things underway. And if you ask my wife, I'm wrong often, so hopefully I'm right a few times today, and we want to remind you that today's match would not be possible without our key partners, Toronto FC, the Canadian Premier League, and O'Neill's Sportswear. As Quebec pressing early, they took one off the, it was actually an Ontario player that took it off the grill there, and I believe that's Gabriel Ortiz. Actually, it was Liam Patera, and hopefully he can shake that off, still clutching at his nose. As that one ricochets off of Patera. Tough kid, not bleeding from that. He continues to check, though, to be sure he's not leaking. And it'll blend in with the red jersey. Now the fourth official's going to have a closer look. And I think they're actually going to stop play here because he is bleeding a little bit after taking that ball to the face. So hopefully Patera able to shake that off and return to action here in the opening minutes of the match.
Get it done quick. Just wipe them off and get it done quick.
Drop it.
Coach Darren Tilley saying, get him back in there quickly. And we restart here with Quebec pressing forward on the ball. Bouillard, he makes the pass out wide, running onto it. Al Mukhtar, but he gets closed down there by Nathan Miller. And now Ontario trying to get something onto the attacking side of half. Gale, he controls, lays off to Arangio. That ball up the flank, and now they press along the far sideline. A foul, though, on the back of the ball carrier, and it'll be a set-piece opportunity for the home squad.
No, there's no re-entry.
So nice work there.
Just put two things in my nose. Yeah.
On the counter, and they're going to send Michael Arangio over to take the free kick.
Just turn and you'll see.
4 or 5 players for Ontario lined up along the top of the 18 as Arangio delivers the right-footed ball in, knocked away by a defender, but a foul on the back of one of the Quebec captains, as that's Raphael Vilsius who made the defensive play, and it'll be a free kick for Quebec. Starting keepers in this match, Pierre-Olivier Gwinnett in net for Quebec, and it's Brian Angrish between the sticks for Ontario. Vilsius plays to the near touchline where Festa runs a little 1-2. He gets it back, touches forward. Unable to control was Bouillard, and now it's picked up nicely there by Conga Benoit. Makes the touch over to Di Pietrantonio as he gets closed down by a couple of Ontario players. El Mamdi, Conga Benoit. Nice touch over to Festa. He's got a little space along the line, closed down. As a nice chip forward, and that's going to be an opportunity for Bouillard to make a play. He's defended closely, as coming into the frame was David Emo, but he can't stop the progress, as bringing it in is Kong Benoit, crosses, but a little too much weight on that touch, and it'll track out along the far sideline for a throw. Good early pressure from Quebec, working from the flank for that crossing opportunity, but the idea from Matthew Conga Benoit a little too strong. Kofi Coleman controlling now for Ontario. Makes the touch through the middle. Nice effort there by Arangio as Quebec pressing here, trying to cause a turnover. There's a long ball controlled by Gale. Gale still battling. Nice aerial challenge there from Arena as Quebec trying to get possession back, and they do so along the far touchline. Conga Benoit, he's taking on the defender there in Royer. Royer stays with him, and a foul called against Conga Benoit as Jackson Royer taken to the turf, and Ontario will restart with a short free kick. Nathan Miller tries to sidestep the oncoming tackle, makes the pass ahead for Arangio. There's a good ball up the line. Running onto it is Deshani Gale. Defended well there. Really nice tackle by Salim El Mamdi to knock that out without committing a foul. Deshani Gale certainly an attacking threat for Ontario. He controls the ball now, but able to have it ricochet towards a teammate, and now they draw it back for Nassib. Nassib switches to the near line. Controlled here by Amat, and it'll be knocked out for an Ontario throw-in. So David Amat gets set to take the toss. On a bounce, received. Nice touch forward, trying to pick out Patera, but it never got to him. Controlled momentarily by Coleman. Now Patera has it, but the referee's whistle will stop that, and Patera continues to bleed, so he's going to be forced out of the match for the time being. They'll try patch him up. Tough start to the match for Liam Patera, who took that ball off the face in the opening minute or so, and well, the trainer continues to try stop the bleeding. We restart with the drop ball. Arangio. Nassib. Patera's not going to get back into the match as quickly as last time. They're going to make sure that the bleeding has stopped here, so he'll continue to receive medical treatment. As Ontario currently playing a man short with Jackson Royer controlling the ball. He plays it out to the far touchline. Held in nicely as they work it over to Miller. Good little 1-2 as now it's controlled by Arangio. He's got options. Picks out Miller making the run wide. Miller draws the cross in, but off the line. Gwinnett there to scoop it up with safe hands. Well read there by the keeper, Gwinnett, as the cross intended for Dionis Jacopi, but never found its destination. Quebec working their way up to the half line. Possession turned over as Emmett comes up with it. Coleman through the middle. There's a quick touch. Gale tried to draw back, but Quebec looking for a counter now as it's carried by Bouillard. He switches out wide. Nice touch. Good vision to find El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar trying to take on a defender. Draws back instead. And Ontario trying to get possession, and they will through a free kick as a foul committed on Coleman. Miller, far touchline, trying to determine if the bleeding is going to stop with Patera's. Coach Tilley starting to lack patience here with his team down one man.
Okay, he's getting back in there.
Amit, sounds like Patera will get back in. That ball off of Amit and out for a Quebec throw-in. Well, Patera getting approval from the fourth that he'll be able to re-enter the match momentarily. Fourth official still having a closer look at him as the keeper Gwinnett controls, and El Mamdi goes right back to his keeper. Vilcius passes forward, quick little touch, controlled along the line by Festa. Nice ball forward, trying to make the play, but doing so with his hand was Conga Benoit, and it's a free kick for Ontario.
Hey, can we get him in?
Bit of controversy here with Patera. The coaching staff really want him back in the match. The fourth wanting more time to assess the situation. And it looks like Patera might not return here. That would be a tough break for Ontario as Quebec try to take advantage. But that ball intercepted easily by Royer as he plays it out wide. Drawn back here for Miller. Royer. Ontario getting a substitute ready. Patera is going to be taken out of this match with that injury. Tough break there for Liam Patera, as it looks like he'll be replaced by Dylan DeMello. The keeper, Brian Angrish, controls for Ontario. Makes the pass over to Zidane Nassib. Nassib playing a long ball forward. Stopping the run was Jacopi. Started to go forward and then pulled back, and in the end never could contest for it. As the keeper, Gwinnett, playing it over to the left center back, El Mamdi. Gwinnett. Vilcius. Good ball forward for Arena. He's got an option along the line in Dante Festa. Festa has room to carry this. Closed down. Nice tackle there by Amit. It's turned over and now controlled by Arangio. Miller looking for an option wide in Gabriel Ortiz. Ortiz tracking and trying to dribble around a couple defenders. Loses it, but he's bailed out by his teammate in Arangio. He shakes some space. Arangio trying to cut inside now. Draws the pass in for Gale, but after a first touch, it's blocked away. Nassib stepping up here. Makes the pass out wide intended for Amit. He's closed down quickly, but Amit's still on the ball. Draws to his left foot for the cross. Into the area, and a good block there by El Mamdi as he got in the way of the shot from Jacopi. And that ball off of Kanga Benoit and out for an Ontario throw. So good first threatening look for Ontario, as now we'll get the substitution in the 11th minute with Dylan DeMello coming into the match and the injury to Liam Patera forcing him out of action. And we certainly hope a quick recovery for Patera. They just couldn't get the bleeding stopped, and after taking that ball in the face, he's forced out. From the throw, flicked on by the header of Ortega Quiseno, as that's played forward, but only as far as the center back in Jackson Royer. Royer plays that over to Miller. Miller with time and space, checking his options. He wants to switch to the near side and picks out Nassib marching forward, makes the pass to DeMello. DeMello controls with his right, looks to switch over to the far flank. Great ball there to pick out Ortiz. He's got a man opening up there, makes the pass forward for Arangio. Arangio controlling, but he's closed down quickly. Good tackle there from Patrick Arana, and he knocks that out for the throw-in. So Ontario with a throw into the attacking third, looking for options here off the ball. Trying to make the play is Arangio. Tight, makes the cross, but it actually traveled across the goal line and out for a goal kick. A reminder to head over to OntarioSoccer.net for all the latest scores, stats, updates, and more, photos as well from the 2024 Provincial Xcel Series. Check out the Match Center for all those great details and more. From the goal kick, El Mamdi plays it forward up the line. Crashing in there with that attempt. Miller went in for Ontario, and the Quebec player getting the worst of it. And hopefully nothing serious there. That was one of those bang-bang 50-50 plays. Miller went hard from the Ontario backline, and the Quebec player who can't quite spot hopefully is able to shake that off. May have gotten winded there. Might be Bouillad who took that knock for Quebec. Some toughness shown there by Sami Bouillad, who's able to get up on his own power and hopefully return to this match. Probably got the wind knocked out of him there. Ontario thinking that they get a free restart here, but they're going to have to work a little harder than that if they want to score a goal in this one. As Ontario claiming they should have been able to restart the match with Quebec not in shape. Now they do get a bit of a gift there, and they'll have a chance to whip a cross in. Cleared away there by Morissette. Only a half clearance as Coleman able to track it. Nassib makes the pass over to Amit. Amit trying to take on the defender. Gets around the first attempt. Plays it ahead for Jacopi. But the flag goes up as he's offside. And now the Soccer Quebec backline will be able to take a deep breath and get back to the pace that they want to dictate here. Vilsius to his keeper, Gwinnett. Gale starts to close that down, so he goes back to Vilsius. Nice right-footed ball, but making the run was Conga Benoit. He got caught in the wrong direction, so Ontario reset now with their backline as Miller receives the pass from Royer. Miller getting closed down, plays that left-footed ball ahead, ricochets off the foot of Di Pietrantonio, and now controlled by Vilsius through the middle. He makes the pass for Bouillad, quickly returning to action after taking that hard knock, and he makes a good ball up the line for El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar checking his options, takes on the defender in the form of Miller, tries to cut back. El Mukhtar makes the pass. Bouillad crosses, but that one not having the purpose he would have hoped for, and it's out for a goal kick. 15th minute of action, scoreless here in the boys under 15 2024 Provincial Xcel Quebec Ontario Series. As we're playing two 40-minute halves here in the boys under 15 series. This is the third match of the weekend for these two squads. And what a great soccer experience this has been for both teams, for all the teams competing, as DeMello switches to the far touchline, trying to keep it in there. Doing so initially was Arangio, but knocked up the line by the Quebec winger and out for a throw-in. That was Dante Di Pietrantonio who was on the coverage there of Arangio, and Ontario will restart with a throw in their own defensive third. Up the line as contending for it is Ortiz. Two Quebec players try contain him, and thought they had gotten a turnover, but referee calls a foul, and it's a free kick for Ontario. They quickly play it back to Royer, who touches over to Nassib. Zaydan Nassib makes the play over to David Amet, tries to dribble his way up the line, but runs out of real estate thanks to the effort of Diego Ortega Quiseno. Controlled by Festa. Into the middle. Nice job to spin off there by Morissette. He's got some space. Plays the ball over to the far flank where El Mukhtar takes possession. He's got a close option, carries it forward, now lays it off to Bouyad. Bouyad tries the cross. It's off the back of the heel of Royer and then punched away on the second clearing effort. Gale trying to shield the ball from two defenders waiting for help. Brilliant tackle that time as dropping down was Arena, but no one there to support him, and now Ontario off in transition. Jacopi, he collides there with Vilcius. He wanted a foul, nothing doing, and it's out for an Ontario throw-in. So Ortiz will take the throw here in the attacking third. Looking for some movement off the ball. Didn't see a lot, so he went back to Miller. Flag goes up here a little late, but it does go up, and that time caught offside is Michael Arangio. So Quebec worked their way up the far touchline. Nice little flick on there by El Mukhtar to pick out Bouyad. Brilliant back heel that time by Morissette, but the service not quite in range for Conga Benoit and not wide enough for Ortega Quiseno to make a run on it, and a missed opportunity that time. Nassib plays it back for Royer. Conga Benoit providing the closing presence. Touched up by Miller. Trying to make the play along the line, but unable to do so is Arangio, and it's out for a Quebec throw-in. Di Pietrantonio, he plays that one back from the throw. Now they pick out Morissette in the middle. He's got time, space, opts to play it over to Festa. Working the near touchline, draws it ahead, but again, out of the range of Conga Benoit. A little bit of frustration there from the striker for Quebec with the poor service. Tightly contested match. Both backlines closing down well. Not a lot of space once you get into the attacking third to try and make something happen. From the throw, Quebec try flick it forward. That's off of Amet. It goes out. They're going to say it actually went off of Bouyad, and it'll be an Ontario throw. So David Amet gets set to take the throw in front of his own dugout. Thought about going backwards initially. Again, a lot of flat-footed, lack of movement off the ball from Ontario. Amet a little bit indecisive, ends up playing it in for Gale, who's closed down by three Quebec players. It was Ortega Quiseno who had it for a moment. Now it's controlled by the back line through El Mamdi. His pass picked off. Ortiz there for Ontario. Nice job by Morissette to get it back for Quebec. Ortega Quiseno into the middle. Letting it go was Bouyad, and now controlled by Arangio. Arangio opens up space in front of him, draws back for Miller. Miller has the option out wide and uses it in Ortiz. Ortiz trying to take on the defender. Now he makes the pass ahead for Arangio, but it was a delayed pass, and by the time he let it go, Arangio was in an offside position. If he spots him sooner and makes that play right away, it could have been something, but good job by the Quebec backline to hold the line and catch Arangio offside. Carrying it ahead now is Dante Festa. Makes the pass. Conga Benoit again turning the wrong way and unable to make a play there. DeMello. Royer. He's got time and space in front of him. Surveys his options. Has Ortiz out wide but uses Miller. Miller draws back. Switches over to Nassib. Nassib has DeMello with the easy touch. DeMello trying to bait in a couple of defenders and loses the ball as Ortega Quiseno makes the pass ahead for Bouillard. Bouillard. Conga Benoit tries to get it back to Bouillard, taking on Royer, but beautiful close down there by the defender as Jackson Royer takes away the opportunity. Quebec quickly retained possession as Morissette comes up with it through the midfield. Makes the pass over to El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar back to Morissette. Nice little 1-2 as El Mukhtar takes it. Uses Morissette again as he controls out wide. Switches back into the middle for Arana. He gets closed down but dribbles his way past a couple defenders. Conga Benoit trying to tee something up. There's a shot from distance as letting it go was Festa, but that was blocked. And now Ontario looking for a counterattack, but the outlet pass, a poor one, and Quebec quickly hammer it back in off the head of Conga Benoit. Unable to keep it in was Ortega Quiseno, and it's out for an Ontario throw. So David Ammett will take the throw for Ontario as the pace of this match starting to pick up now. As Ortega Quiseno there with the header interception, but a loose ball controlled now and picked up by Kofi Coleman. Coleman, who's been pushed up into a midfielding position from the back line, as pulled back in his place was Royer, and it's controlled here by the keeper Gwinnett. Vilcius, Festa. That's turned over. Ammett makes the pass to Coleman. Coleman tries to sidestep the tackle. Makes the dish over to Arangio. Touches out wide for Ortiz. He's closed down, so he has to pull back for Miller. Miller over to Royer, who's got a man closing him quickly in Conga Benoit, but got it away. And now Ontario have it back with Nassib. Coleman, he'll take down that pass at knee height. Makes the touch over to Ortiz. Ortiz into the attacking third. Gets around the first tackle from Di Pietrantonio, but loses it on the second attempt. And now Conga Benoit battling here. He takes a knock on the back as as Royer got a little too much of him. And it's a free kick for Quebec. 24th minute of action. Both teams starting to show a little more aggressiveness in their offensive build-up, and it feels like something could break here for one of these teams soon. From the free kick, they work it over to Vilcius, the captain, as he makes the play over to Festa. Festa closed down by DeMello, can't keep it in, and it's out for an Ontario throw-in.
Coach. When we play one-on-one.
Ammett. Nassib. Ammett returns as he makes the play over to Royer. Royer finds Ortiz while he intended to find him, but the ball not quite wide enough. The back pass, an errant one, though, and unable to finish it off. Dionis Jacopi, as the Ontario striker, is yet to find his touch in this match. He hasn't quite provided the attacking threat they would have hoped, and that's one where on the short back pass from Di Pietrantonio, you would at least expect him to test the keeper. But Gwinnett takes the goal kick, and we restart here as Festa wins that battle. Vilcius, he's closed down, turned over, Coleman on it. Check that, that's Gale. He tries the shot, and that's out for a goal kick. So Ontario trying to generate opportunities here, but in the last two chances, not looking particularly threatening. They would hope for better. Vilcius plays it up the line. That's going to be controlled by Nassib with the header. As Conga Benoit, and it's off of Ammett, out for a Quebec throw. Festa preparing to take the throw. He goes back for Vilcius. Wintern goes all the way back to the keeper, Gwinnett. The ball controlled here by El Mukhtar. Makes the touch ahead for Conga Benoit, trying to take on Royer. Conga Benoit tries to chip it back inside, but not enough weight there. It's turned over, and here goes Arangio for Ontario. Michael Arangio tried to make the play over to Dionis Jacobi, but again, just not finding his stride so far in this match through 27 minutes. Lynette. Festa. Touches wide, that's out. It'll be a throw-in for Ontario in front of the Quebec bench. Ammett to DeMello. Gale, closed down quickly by Vilcius. The ball knocked through the middle where it's controlled by El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar makes the touch to the near wing for Ortega Quiseno. Nice idea to pick out Conga Benoit, but it was closed down by Nassib, and then off of Ortega Quiseno, out for an Ontario throw-in. Ammett looking for movement off the ball, not getting a ton. Plays it in for Gale. Peels for a foul throw, nothing doing as it's controlled by Royer. Miller. Over to Ortiz, working the attacking side of half along the far touchline. Nice ball ahead for Arangio. He fights through the initial challenge. Crosses, but lacking the substance he would have hoped there, and that's out for a goal kick. It was a good tackle effort from Patrick Arana that may have caused that missed cross from Arangio. From the goal kick restart, Quebec move it to the near flank for Festa. His ball headed up by Nassib, controlled now by Royer, as he'll head it back for his keeper, Brian Angrish. Neither keeper really tested to this point in the match, as Ontario have had a few shot attempts, but not really getting anything on target, and Quebec much the same. Nice touch there, is trying to run onto it is Arangio, but tackled beautifully by El Mamdi, and Quebec looking for a counter opportunity. El Mukhtar, heavy first touch taken away by DeMello. DeMello opens up out wide for Ortiz. Ortiz carries it forward as he's being closed down there by Arana. Arana with the tackle, Ortiz still battling, second tackle effort, and that's going to be a goal kick. Brilliant defensive tackle that time by Di Pietrantonio to knock Ortiz off stride and not concede a corner. Well, the Ontario coach saying be cognizant of El Mukhtar, and now they create a turnover, but unable to initially take advantage. Gale now running onto it. Jacobi once again just not looking clinical at this point. Nice defensive effort by Festa, but he clears it only as far as Royer, who steps up. The ball played intended for Ortiz, broken up by El Mukhtar. He quickly tries to race back. Ortiz covering, taken now by Miller. Nice step up that time as controlling through the midfield. Quebec have possession. It was a great defensive effort as coming over now, Conga Benoit. It's lost there through the midfield, though, by Morissette. And here goes DeMello for Ontario. DeMello thinking about teeing something up, but a poor touch on the last effort, and now Vilcius takes it away. Quick touch by El Mukhtar back to Vilcius. Vilcius has room to carry this, makes the touch out wide to Bouillard. Bouillard with time and space in front of him, carries into the penalty area, draws the cross to Conga Benoit, tries to control, but dealt with by the defenders. Only a half clearance. Morissette wanted to volley that out of midair. Emmett came in, and Morissette's going to receive a caution for that effort. As a lot of physical play, it's intense, and a lot of 50-50 battles that have resulted in some close calls. Emmett seemingly shaking it off, but Miller down for Ontario, and he's holding the back of his legs. Could be a hamstring issue. He's going to need a change here. And tough break there for Nathan Miller. He's played so well as the right back today for Ontario. But he's going to be forced out of this match in the 31st minute due to injury, and Ontario being forced to make a couple changes here in this first half now due to player injury. So we certainly hope nothing too serious there for Nathan Miller, and we hope he can recover in time. But that's a tough one to take as you pull up limp and grabbing the back of the leg like that. You never like to see a player go down, and we certainly hope he's able to recover and have a great rest of the season. But that's going to do it for his 2024 Provincial Xcel Series between Ontario Soccer and Soccer Quebec, as we're coming to you live from the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center Stadium Field. Say that 5 times fast. And we'll restart with a free kick for Ontario after the caution was issued to Bouillard. So here we get the substitution as Luke Seppo will come into the match, replacing the injured Nathan Miller. Inside the final 10 minutes of the first half in the boys under 15 2024 Provincial Xcel Quebec Ontario Series, Seppo takes possession and he'll get his first touches here in this match. Seppo checking his options, plays the ball ahead, intended for Ortiz. Ortiz, check that. That's Arangio running onto it. He gets hauled down, and that's going to be a free kick for Ontario and a chance to set something up from a set-piece opportunity. Similar to a corner kick, a little bit further in, maybe about 6 yards, 5 yards from where the corner flag is. So, and a little bit off the goal line, maybe about 3-4 yards, maybe a little more off the goal line. So a chance to whip across in here as Ontario putting 6-7 players in and around the penalty area. There's the cross. Jacobi had a touch on it with the header, but no one there to follow it up. And now it's cleared as the back pass for Nassib. He's got to make a smart play, and he goes back to his keeper, Angrish, not taking any chances. Controlled here by Angrish as Bouillard may be pressing up to the striker position here in place of Conga Benoit. That ball just stayed in as it was held by DeMello. Keep an eye on that personnel as Seppo takes it forward for Ontario. He's got time and space, makes the touch, but a poor effort and picked off by El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar makes the pass over to Conga Benoit, who gets crashed into by Royer, and a throw in there for Quebec on that clattering tackle from Jackson Royer. Arena into the middle, Morissette. First touch turned over as Gale comes up with it for Ontario. He tries to open up some space with his speed. Gale makes the pass over to Jacobi, but once again contained by the Quebec backline, who only get a half clearance as far as Coleman. Coleman trying to pick out Ahmed on that run. Ahmed, he'll control here deep in the attacking third. Tries to cut back. Spins the defender. Takes it down to the goal line where Festa makes the well-timed tackle, and Quebec clear it as Nassib steps up to try and keep the pressure on. DeMello turns, looks for an option in front of him, lays it over to Coleman. Stripped away, nice effort that time as Conga Benoit, he's going to have an opportunity to make a run. Royer closes him down. The two continue to battle head-to-head. Conga Benoit getting a little too much on the back. He shows a little frustration there. He's got to be careful not to get a caution, and the referee is going to pull out the card and issue the yellow to Mathieu Conga Benoit here in the 35th minute. We'll take this opportunity to remind you that today's Ontario-Quebec series is fueled by Gatorade. With a proven blend of carbs and electrolytes, Gatorade is scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. From the restart, Ontario working the ball over to Coleman. Now it's over to Seppo. He's got some space in front of him, carries it forward, draws over to Coleman. Both teams working here to try break through before the halftime whistle. Coleman dishes over to DeMello, looking for a switch, chips it forward. Gale the intended target, but a great defensive header by Vilsius to make the play, and in the end, a foul against Coleman, so a free kick for Ontario. Referee spotting a loose shin pad on the pitch, as that can't be much more than a flimsy piece of cardboard there, but Gale stuffs it back in his sock and will restart the action. With all the improvements in sports technology, it's funny how the shin pads have gone back to the way they were when I was a kid in the 80s, and they're not the big hulking pieces anymore, as that's out for a goal kick. And in the final 4 minutes of the first plus any added time, we'll restart with the kick here from Gwinnett. He keeps it short for El Mamdi. Back to Gwinnett. Ontario seem content to let the keeper control. Now Gale starts to close. Vilcius, he takes it forward as he uses Festa along the line. Festa with space, makes the pass ahead. Shouldered there by Conga Benoit. Nice control to get it back, but the pass a little too far away from Ortega Quiseno and out for an Ontario throw-in. Emmett checking his options, turns it over from the throw. Both teams battling for possession, and it'll end up being Seppo who touches back for his keeper, Angrish. Royer. DeMello as he sends Nassib up the line. Coleman. Nassib continuing to make the run from the left back position. He wants to provide a threat. Now he'll pull back as it switched over, intended for Ortiz. He battles through the first attempt, tries to drive wide, now cuts back in, but Di Pietrantonio there for that slide tackle, and now it's El Mukhtar controlling for Quebec. El Mukhtar pulls back, picks out the option there in Morissette. He's closed down by Jacopi. Check that. That's actually Arana who was under pressure, and he did well to fight through the challenge. There's a good ball. Ortega Quiseno has an opportunity to make a run into the attacking third. Closed down by Emmett. Takes the tackle and receives the call. A hard tackle from Emmett, and it's going to be a free kick. And an opportunity for a set piece here, as referee indicating to the fourth official 4 minutes of added time here in the first half. As we're into the 39th minute, and Quebec will have a set-piece opportunity here. Sami Bouillad on the ball to take the kick, a two-man wall to defend. Looking to cross something in with the bulk of his teammates positioning towards the far post. 5 players piled towards the far post, one in the near post in the threat of Diego Ortega Quiseno. As Bouillad tees up the left-footed cross, it was closer to the near post. Vilcius, the closest player, but defended well as Ontario try get the clearance. And now it's on the Quebec side of half as Di Pietrantonio plays that ahead, controlled by Arana, as that's touched forward, intended for Bouillad, but broken up as it was El Mukhtar who tried to feed it through. Controlled now by Arangio as Ontario try counter. Gale pushed back over to the right flank. Now tries to cut back in. Gale taking it down. Makes the cross to the far post, but over the head of Jacopi, and now picked up by Emmett outside the area. Emmett defending the ball, shielding, makes the pass to DeMello. His cross attempt knocked down, turned wide by Bouillad, and now El Mukhtar has room to carry it onto the attacking side of half. El Mukhtar plays ahead for Conga Benoit, who comes from the offside position as the flag goes up. And now we get the indication of at least 4 minutes of added time here in the first half. And with the couple injuries and substitutions we had, it makes sense. As the ball played wide here, Ortiz trying to dribble around the defender, but Di Pietrantonio there to turn it over. And now Conga Benoit tries to turn on Royer, but Jackson Royer continues to be an anchor on that back line for Ontario. Ball touched back, Nassib hustling to keep it in play. He will catch it. And now he'll have time to survey the options in front of him. Uses the touch to Emmett, who's got time and space up the line. Emmett feeds ahead for Jacopi. He stays onside, excuse me. He's closed down immediately by Vilcius. Ball tracking, well, it's actually going to toe the line, so Nassib has to keep it in and play it. As Coleman touches back for Nassib. Into the middle now for DeMello, looking to switch over to Ortiz. Provides a good ball to the outside. Ortiz closing it down. Tries to cut in past Di Pietrantonio, as that's off the defender in the form of El Mamdi and out for a corner kick. So a corner here late in the first half for Ontario, and they'll try find the breakthrough as once again Gale losing his flimsy shin pad. It's that same one too. The left one keeps popping out on him. It'll be Dylan DeMello to take the corner here for Ontario, as this might end up being the last play of the half. As DeMello sets up for the outswinger. DeMello delivers a low cross to the near post. Jacopi can't control. Touch back towards DeMello by Arangio. DeMello trying to open something here. Toying with a couple of defenders. Takes it back down towards the corner. Nice tackle by Vilcius. DeMello pops back up and gains control. Tracks out along the line though, and it's out for a Quebec throw-in. So a good job by Quebec defensively to defend that corner kick. Now they'll try slow things down here for the halftime whistle. From the toss, controlled by Bouillard. Opens up some space. Makes the touch over to Morissette. Over to the near flank now for Festa. He's looking up the pitch, but opts to go even further for Ortega Quiseno, and it's out for a Quebec throw. Festa, Ortega Quiseno, he had a man on his back. Play continuing on here as Emmett, who made that defensive play, seemingly taking a knock in his back. And now Royer trying to shield this out for a goal kick, but Conga Benoit there, and in the end it is for the goal kick. And this will likely be the last play. Referee seemed like he was ready to blow things. Checks his watch one more time. He's going to let them go on here. Seppo taking it forward as that touch through the middle intercepted. Nice control by El Mamdi. Bouillard has it go off the back of his heel and never can regain it. But El Mukhtar trying to bail him out. Seppo comes through with it. Hard tackle there on Ortiz, no call as referee checks his watch, and now he blows the halftime whistle. So at the break, it's Quebec 0, Ontario 0, as you're tuned in to the 2024 Provincial Xcel Showcase Series. Stay tuned, second half action coming up next.
Yeah.
Any subs?
No. They bought me the stickers.
Any subs, Fab? Sure, I can, yeah, if you give them now, I can get ahead of it.
The bee, it's not leaving. Oh, I didn't realize it was one right there.
You ever have time to come in? Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna watch them. Make sure you're happy. Hey, yes, you could, yeah.
Allez, deuxième mi-temps les gars, on l'a. Regarde par la dos, restez serré au début.
Never hot.
Coach. Entre les lignes, on fait bien.
All right, soccer fans, let's get you set for the second half kickoff here at the Boys Under 15 Provincial Xcel Ontario-Québec Series. And the second half is brought to you by O'Neill's Sportswear. O'Neill's Sportswear have brought our new Provincial Xcel kits to life, proudly worn by our Team Ontario players this weekend. Each stitch, every detail, handcrafted with precision and passion. We're proud to partner with O'Neill's Sportswear, bringing our athletes the top quality gear they need to look and feel their best out on the pitch. For more information on how your club can look their best, visit O'Neills.com. We've got 9 substitutions between the two teams to kick off the second half, so let's shopping list them here. As for Ontario, it's John Canis, Tariq Livermore, Christian Gallo, and Giannis Kalpakipis into the match. And for Quebec, maybe most notably switching keepers as Samsi Kaita takes over the sticks, and joining him on the pitch will be Jordan Marcus Robergeau, Amadou Doudou Diallo, Juan Fernando Castellanos Lille, and Mathieu Bussière. Don't ask me who came off. As we kick off the second half action, scoreless here, but both teams starting to gain some momentum towards the later stages of the first half. We'll see if either team can find the breakthrough, as Juan Fernando Castellanos Lille making the play for Quebec, trying to feed something up the line before Robergeau made the effort. That one goes off the Gatorade tent and out for a Quebec throw-in. Castellanos Leo will leave the ball for Di Pietrantonio, as that's knocked away and controlled now by Arangio. That could be a turnover as El Mukhtar takes control. Left-footed shot from distance, and that one just dipped wide to the far post. Not a bad idea there from Lukili El Mukhtar. Just couldn't quite test the keeper Angrish with that attempt.
I'm going to hit it with a Khalid
Angrish
special.
will take the goal kick short for Royer, who makes the pass over to Seppo. Seppo playing it up the line as Coleman tried to flick on. Quebec now taking possession through the midfield with Arana on the ball. He drops back for El Mamdi, tries to feed forward for Bouyad, as now he gets the pass. Bouyad crossing to the far flank as the defender making a bit of a meal of it there, and John Canis. El Mukhtar trying to chase it down, but Canis gets it, loses it to El Mukhtar, tries to dance his way in. That cross attempt blocked by Coleman and cleared out to the half line. Ontario making a switch up front. One of the players taken out was the striker from the first half in the form of Jacobi, and he's been replaced by Kalpakipis, and we'll see if Kalpakipis can have the impact up front that Ontario were hoping for. Seppo controls, not forcing, he pulls back, now opens up again wide as he takes some space in front of him. Services that one ahead as Gallo running onto it, tries to keep it in, but it's across the line and out for a goal kick. Good crowd on hand here to take in today's match. Of course, we've got one more on the broadcast schedule. That kickoff scheduled for noon in the Boys Under 17 series to wrap up the weekend here at the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center Stadium Field. As Quebec take it forward now with Bouyad on the ball. Tries to feed that pass intended for Robergeau. Blocked initially by Royer. Bouyad trying to secure it back. Royer there defensively. Play on, says the referee, as Bouyad tries to make the cross, but it's off of Nassib and out for a corner kick. So nice recovery by Nassib to shift over and close down Bouyad, who did well to shake off Royer, who hasn't been beaten too many times today. That steady presence on the center back position for Ontario that time. Getting a little bit exposed there and bailed out by his defensive teammate Nassib. Sammy Bouyad gets set to take the corner, setting up for an outswinger. As Quebec have El Mukhtar right on top of the keeper, Angrish, and referee blows it down. He didn't like that bit of contact between the two, so tough break for Bouillard. That was a nice corner, but he'll have to retake it. He'll once again set up for the outswinger as the referee keeps a close eye on El Mukhtar and Angrish. Bouillard, another good ball into the 6. Top of the area, volleyed down as trying to get the play was Bussière, but unable to push it past the defenders. They'll reset here. There's a ball in towards the target in Robergeau, but never could get to him. Shot from distance, and that just went over the bar. Nice effort there by Juan Fernando Castellanos Leal, and it didn't miss by that much. Here we get a look at the replay. Certainly Angrish had to be concerned about that strike from distance. Royer from the goal kick. Seppo closed down nicely as Quebec starting to show some aggression, trying to cause turnovers, and referee says a little too aggressive there. A foul committed and a free kick for Ontario. It was Bouillard that drew the referee's whistle as Seppo gets set to take the kick. Seppo seeing no movement off the ball, proving indecision for him, and now he just hammers it up the pitch. Taking it with the chest, but unable to control was Kalpakipis as there's a good switch. Trying to bring it down now is Canis. He shields there from Amadou Doudou Diallo. Doudou Diallo staying on Canis, turned over, but unable to control it up top was Robergeau. As one of the changes for Quebec sees Matthew Conga Benoit out of the match at the half. Unable to take advantage of his opportunities, and we'll see if Jordan Marcus Robergeau can provide that attacking threat up front. Quebec throw in as Castellanos Leal tries to make the play. Controlled here by Arangio. Tries to shield from the defender in Arana. Nice touch. Running onto it now is Gallo. Gallo with the cross into the area. Brought down but unable to generate a shot. And Quebec get the clearance as El Mukhtar takes possession. Bouillard trying to take on Seppo. Seppo makes a clean tackle, but Bouillard back up, ends up losing it on the second effort. And now Ontario looking for a quick counter. Here goes Gallo, but the flag goes up and puts an end to that threat as we get the offside whistle in the 47th minute. So both teams starting to press with purpose now, working for that potential breakthrough. Salim El Mamdi will take the kick here for Quebec. Plays it short over to Raphael Vilsius. Through the middle. As it's touched, intended for Arena. He did well to recover and hold possession. And now they'll look for an option up the line. But Seppo there to close it down after the heavy first touch from Bouillard. Nassib goes back to his keeper, Angrish. As Angrish uses Jackson Royer. Royer to Seppo. Seppo looking through the middle for Coleman. That could be a turnover as trying to close it down was Robergeau, and he nearly came away with it. Royer to Coleman. Kofi Coleman with pressure on his back. Dishes off to Nassib. Nassib, he's got options out wide. Looks through the middle and finds the man there in Kalpakipis. Kalpakipis loses it though, and now here goes El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar trying to shield from Kalpakipis. El Mukhtar makes the pass to Doudou Diallo. And now Doudou Diallo opening up on the 1-2. He gets it back from El Mukhtar. Takes the touch, gets a little bit too much on the back of Nassib. And that's going to be a free kick for Ontario as we approach the 50th minute of action. 2 40-minute halves here in the boys under 15 series at the 2024 Provincial Xcel Ontario-Québec series. And of course, head over to OntarioSoccer.net for all the latest scores, stats, photos, updates, and more. Check out the Match Center where you can relive all the action from this phenomenal weekend of soccer. Luke Seppo takes the space in front of him, makes the pass, but it's off the mark. Quickly recovered by Arangio as he tries to turn and burn. Arangio opens up the man for Gallo, but the touch too wide, and it's out for a Quebec throw. Got a look there, Christian Gallo, who coming in as one of the halftime substitutes, one of 4 for Ontario, trying to make his impact. That ball out of touch as Seppo shields it out, and he'll get the throw in here for Ontario. Up the line, Coleman trying to make the play, but initially getting to it is Castellanos Leal. And now Quebec have it through the midfield. Touched on there by Bussière as El Mukhtar chips that one forward. Seppo trying to close down as Castellanos Leal making a good play. Crossing it off of Seppo and out for a corner kick. And Seppo taking that in a tough spot, and he'll try shake it off. Take this opportunity. Actually, we'll do it after the corner. Seppo seemingly able to continue on, and Sammy Bouillard, who delivered a couple quality corners in the first half, will try generate an opportunity here. Bouillard setting up for the outswinger as Vilcius is being ushered off right now. Not sure if he's got a bit of a cut or an equipment issue, but he's going to be checked out by the training staff, and for the time being, Quebec down 1 man. Tough break on the corner too as Bouillard delivers a quality cross headed away as Kalpakipis getting to it defensively. Picked up now as Arano with the shot attempt, but that one not much of a challenge for the keeper Angrish, and he makes the easy save. Well, both TFC and CPL are vital aspirational destinations along the talented pathway. TFC, through its TFC Academy, is a pinnacle club soccer destination for aspiring professional male soccer players in our province. And the CPL is Canada's top-tier men's domestic league, represented in Ontario by its member clubs Forge FC, York United FC, and Atletico Ottawa, as appeals for a call but nothing doing, it's out for a goal kick. Provides important development opportunities for over 150 Canadian players, many of whom who have come from Ontario. Ontario getting set to make a substitution here, looking to bring in Jonathan Vasquez Lopez. A little confusion as to the change here. Vilcius being welcomed back onto the pitch, so that's a good sign there with the Quebec captain returning to action. And now we'll get the substitution for Ontario with Vasquez Lopez coming into the match and Michael Arangio coming out of action. Arangio having a solid game today, patrolling that midfield, and now Vasquez Lopez will have to take over that important role through the central midfield. From the goal kick, controlled by Vilcius. Makes the pass ahead, trying to close it down, as nearly coming up with it was Vasquez Lopez. He tries to chase down the ball carrier in Dudu Diallo, as it's passed ahead now for Castellanos Leal. Makes the touch to the outside. Arana running onto it. Takes it down to the goal line. Left-footed cross back to the top of the 6. There's the volley attempt. And Angrish making the save on that chance for Bussière. Well, Bussière tried to tee it up, but maybe didn't quite hit it the way he would have liked. And Angrish making the threatening chance seem like a routine save. Ontario getting set to bring on another player momentarily, as that ball out for a Quebec throw. Well, maybe not a sub, maybe just a quick trip to the Gatorade cooler. It'll be Quebec preparing to make a change, as the sub with the card in hand prepares to come in at the next break. Arana tries to turn that ball up the pitch. Castellanos Leo making the run, but Seppo there defensively in anguish, clearing it out. Kalpa Kippis coming back from the offside position, so the flag goes up and whistles that down as Quebec prepared to bring on Theo Lapointe. It'll be Patrick Arana coming out of the match, having a pretty strong performance today. As here in the 55th minute, Lapointe gets set to take the pitch and he collides there with Arana. Well, Lapointe is fired up, you could say that. Arana maybe a little shaken up, but Lapointe will take the kick here as he takes over the center back position. Gallo gets a first touch but ends up conceding possession there to Castellanos Leo, who drops back for Dudu Diallo. Lost to the effort there to Livermore. And it's a free kick for Ontario after that battle with Tariq Livermore and Amadou Dudu Diallo. Controlled here by Vilsius. He touches over to El Mukhtar. Back into the middle. Dudu Diallo tried to slide at it. Ontario hold possession here as Vilsius crashes to the turf. That ball intended back for Gallo, but closed down nicely by Lapointe and knocked out for an Ontario throw-in. Now the referee wants to have a word with Vilsius, who didn't like the lack of a call when he tumbled down. Referee's going to give him a warning and say, that's your last one before you end up in the book. As Ontario take the throw deep into the attacking third. Great tackle there by Vilsius. Nice mental fortitude to recover without committing the foul. Coleman trying to hold it. Great tackle by Dudu Diallo as it's carried ahead now by Castellanos Leo. Seppo steps up, but a foul committed there by Kofi Coleman, and he'll go into the book with a caution here in the 57th minute. So Kofi Coleman taking the foul after that threatening break from Dudu Diallo and Castellanos Leo. Lapointe gets set to take the free kick. Quebec only putting 3 players in and around the top of the 18, so they'll keep it short from the kick. As Vilsius playing out wide for El Mukhtar. El Mukhtar closed down, controlled and given away almost there by Canis, but he recovers nicely, and now Ontario start to break out from their defensive third. Through the midfield as trying to make the play was DeMello, as it's played back out wide for Ortiz. Check that, excuse me, that's Canis. Canis plays that one ahead for Kalpa Kippis. Kalpa Kippis back to Canis, tries to settle down the bouncing ball, takes the shot, and first save for Keita since coming into this match. And he had to be sure on that one, diving down to his left and with safe hands able to make that save. Releases it and plays it out wide where it's picked up by Di Pietrantonio. Castellanos Leo trying to get around Seppo. As a couple players collide there, and Christian Gallo and Castellanos Leo coming together, and it looks like Gallo got the worst of it coming from the back. But seemingly he's going to be okay to continue on here. Referee's just going to hold the action for a moment to make sure. As we're into the 58th minute. Still scoreless, but not for a lack of effort. As Castellanos Leo tries to make the play along the line. Nice work there defensively by Vasquez Lopez. Ball stays in play. As Livermore trying to turn on the defender. He loses his footing, wanted a call, nothing doing. And now it's El Mamdi making the touch over to Lapointe. And El Mamdi staying down for a moment, but he seems to be okay. Canis steps up for the interception, tries the cross off of Vilsius and out for an Ontario throw-in. A ton of movement off the ball for Ontario. Now players checking too, but they throw back for Vasquez Lopez. He's immediately closed down by El Mukhtar, but Ontario hold it. Kalpakipis plays that one out wide. Canis, check that. That's DeMello with the flashy boots who tried to make the play. Seppo, as he hits it over to Gallo. Gallo trying to cut back inside on Castellanos Leo. That ball picked up by Livermore. Tries the right-footed shot and a good save there by Keita. Samsi Keita had to be sure of that opportunity to the near post. Livermore did well to draw it to his right where he could generate the shot. And Ontario getting a couple decent opportunities in the last few minutes. A little bit like a boxing match, teams going back and forth, trading opportunities, trading chances, and so far neither team able to break through. Roberto, he plays that one out wide. El Mukhtar tries to draw in the defender in Canis. Spins him out. El Mukhtar takes it inside the area, crosses, intended for Roberto, but just couldn't quite connect on that. As El Mukhtar down behind the play, and hopefully he's okay. Another Quebec player falling to turf. And then a physical exchange with DeMello hauling down his man. As Doudou Diallo wanted the yellow card for that foul, but DeMello's going to escape without it. And now two Quebec players in Bouillade and El Mukhtar down and currently not able to get themselves up. This would be a tough break if both these guys have to be subbed out. They've both been good today. El Mukhtar in particular has been a real threat, showing some great creativity and skill, but here in the 61st minute, both Bouillade and El
here
Mukhtar,
too. There's another guy injured in the back.
Bouillade able to get back up, although
Sorry, I was following the girl.
maybe a little gingerly as he tries to stretch it out. El Mukhtar receiving some treatment now from the trainer, and it looks like El Mukhtar's going to have to be subbed out of this match. So really tough break there for Quebec, as Lukili El Mukhtar, arguably one of their top players today, is going to have to leave the match due to injury in the 62nd minute. Looks like Bouillade might stay on. No, they're going to sub Bouillade out as well. So a couple of substitutions here for Quebec as Thomas Lott gets set to come into this match. Check that. They're just going to make the one change. So Bouillade will come back in here. A little confusion. 7 was indicated on the 4th official board. So they're going to have to sort this personnel out. Right now, Quebec short a player in Ontario, trying to take advantage. DeMello crosses, headed away by Di Pietrantonio and knocked out for a corner. So Ontario trying to take advantage here of the personnel issue. 4th official will allow them eventually to bring Bouillade back into the match, and now he's in, so back to 11 aside. So in the end, it's El Mukhtar subbed out in place of Locke. And now Gallo sets up for the outswing. Majority of his teammates piled to the back post. Cross drops in between and eventually cleared away out through the half, where Nassib takes control for Ontario. Pass. Gallo tries to one-time it. It's off of Gallo and out for a Quebec throw. Approaching the final 10 minutes of match play as Gallo creates the turnover. Carries into the penalty area. Lays it off for Livermore. Shot attempt blocked. And then a clearance from Quebec on that combined effort. But Coleman wrestles it away, committing a foul in the process. And a free kick now for Ontario. For Quebec. As pressing were Ontario, Vasquez Lopez in the fray as well. El Mamdi back to his keeper Keita, who then plays it with his right foot out towards the half. Canis steps up. Vilcius volleys that forward. As the two number 7s going head-to-head there in Bouillard and Canis, and Bouillard comes away with possession. Bouillard over to Doudou Diallo. Does well to fight through the tackle from Seppo. Plays ahead now for Castellanos-Leal. Castellanos-Leal dribbles into the area, draws to his left foot, tries to keep it tight to the goal line with a couple defenders on his back. Seppo wrestles it away and gets the clearance up the line, where Tariq Livermore battles for possession. Nice job there by Di Pietrantonio to come away with the ball as his pass then picked off, and now Coleman makes the touch over to Livermore. Livermore has his jersey yanked by Di Pietrantonio. Referee's going to give him a word, and I think just a warning. As Di Pietrantonio draws the stern warning from the match official, but nothing more. 65th minute. Seppo on the ball for Ontario. He's got Nassib for the easy switch, doesn't like it. Gallo up the line. A lot of indecision today from Seppo as he makes the hard pass there for Vasquez Lopez, who was pretty close to him, and then a switch that's kind of heavy, but Nassib will track that down. Picked up now by Canis. He makes the touch up the line for Kalpakipis. Kalpakipis defended well there by Lapointe as he makes the touch over to Valsius. The clearance headed away by Nassib. DeMello back to Vasquez Lopez. His pocket picked, and now Quebec looking for a counterattack opportunity. Vasquez Lopez throwing a late tackle there. He's got to be careful as that's going to be a caution. Nice call there by the official. It was a really late tackle by Vasquez Lopez. And really not a very crisp one, so a caution here in the 66th
Zoom out a little bit when it's a yellow
minute.
card.
And a free kick for Quebec on the attacking side of half.
Okay.
There's the ball played forward into the penalty area, but Nassib with the defensive header. DeMello tracks it down. Canis with the volley, and now picked up by Livermore. They don't have numbers, but they've got something in transition here. The return attempted for Livermore, but a great tackle there by Lapointe to break it up. That could have been threatening had that ball gotten through, as Tariq Livermore is looking like a legitimate scoring threat today for Ontario, but that time intercepted, and now here goes Valsius. He drives a low cross towards the penalty area, but Seppo there to intercept. Back to his keeper, Angrish, who hammers it up the pitch. Livermore brings it down with the chest. Coleman, poor first touch as Doudou Diallo tries to wrestle it back. Coleman still trying to keep this in play, but it's out, and it'll be a Quebec throw-in. As we get a player down for Quebec, and that's Raphael Vilsius, the captain, who looks like he's going to need a substitution here. And Quebec are going to have to make a change. Well, Vilsius has had a quality match today, but just running out of gas, he's going to have to be subbed off here. A little bit of limp there in his right leg. Hopefully he's okay. Showed a lot of heart out there today. But no doubt a frustrating way to end the match today for Vilsius, having to leave with injury. Much warmer today than yesterday, and at field level with that turf and rubber pellets, it feels a little hotter than it actually is. And no doubt the way these guys have been playing, they're gassed, leaving it all out there. So Jacobo Andres Avila Trulio comes into the match. And we restart with the throw for Ontario. Seppo, he plays that one forward. Headed by Lapointe, as it'll be tracked down here by Boussiere. Touching that one wide, as carrying it forward was Bouillard. A bit of his jersey got tugged, but no call. And now Canis coming back the other way for Ontario. Canis trying to dribble through the middle. That's picked off, but DeMello there to recover it. Header controlled by Canis on the second effort. Tried to get it back from Kalpakipis, but never could track it down. And now it's picked up by Dylan DeMello for Ontario here in the 69th minute. So approaching the final 10 minutes plus any added time here in this match to close out the weekend series as Gallo takes control. He's pushed off the ball, wanted a call, nothing doing, defended well. And now Castellanos Leal tries to cut back in but turns it over. He quickly hustles and gets it back though as Castellanos Leal then has his pocket picked, and now Nasib opens up out wide for Canis. Canis opts to play that forward with the man running on, and on the touch there from the defender El Mamdi, a good job to ricochet it to his keeper Keita, who came off the line and secured it before Livermore could get a touch.
I heard punch in, so I punched.
Keita. Discussion here between the Ontario bench and some of the match officials. I'm not sure what their grievance is.
Especially by with a stop too. I know what you mean, man.
Tough to decipher what they're discussing. You're not sure if it's something about the offside. Closest option is
Hey, watch your head! Watch your head! I've already talked to you.
Kipnis. Man, you guys are really testing me with some of these pronunciations. A couple Kipnis dishes off the can. Is there's a couple shin pads now littered across the pitch.
You want the sub or you want the shoe?
And we get the substitution here for Quebec, which sees Thomas. Corner. Great effort, great mindset there.
You're cutting out.
Semi-added time. And again, with a few injuries and substitutions. Drawn the referee's warning a few times, and he might end up Quebec. Scores a clutch goal. Players pouring off the bench. There's a brilliant low cross.
Faut lever la voie, là.
By
Faut lever la voie, il reste 3 minutes. Faut lever la voie.
Shielding Robergeau. Full credit to Jordan Marcus Robergeau for the slightest of touches, and now the keeper Keita is going to. Well, just 3 players outside of the penalty area, 4, including the kick taker. For Ontario, they're pushing everybody forward. Referee wants to have a word with some of the players getting a little too physical.
Am I on right now?
8 players in and around the penalty area for and make the save.
Hey, go to ballon! Go to ballon!
Queuing up for a far post cross, realized that was dipping into. Not around his knee there.
Laisse devant, top, top!
It's a tough one as he holds his thigh, but it looks like he's going to be okay to continue on. And Ontario are going to have another chance to try. Inside the penalty area as players jockey. goal 5, but with a couple delays here, you wonder if the match official extended. Things down here.
Stay up. The long ball happens
For an option up the line. The ball just gets across the end line and it's out for a ball kick. Running out here on the home squad. Puts the whistle to his mouth.
Ah, my goodness. Fun.
Perfect. Ben Longo at the Zankin Automotive Center where the U17 boys just wrapped up their series, Ontario and Quebec. Quebec with the late winner to take this one, but Ontario comes out on top on the series, winning the first 2 games. We'll speak with Jordan, who won the game for Quebec with an 88th minute goal there. So we'll get his thoughts and we'll see how happy he is after that goal. Perfect. Make sure you grab a sweater. Back field side with Jordan, who just scored the game winner in the 80th minute, Quebec's player of the match. Jordan, t'as marqué le but victoire. Comment te sens-tu?
Je me sens très bien. C'est vraiment un très beau moment. J'ai cherché ça tout le tournoi, j'ai essayé de marquer. Et finalement, c'est aujourd'hui que je l'ai fait et je suis très content.
Et c'était un match très proche, et une série très proche. Comment évaluerez-vous la performance de votre équipe ce match et tout le long de la série?
Ce match était définitivement le meilleur des séries. Les 2 premiers matchs, on mettait l'intensité, mais la partie technique, elle n'était pas là. Mais aujourd'hui, on y est allé à fond, on a défendu, on a attaqué et on a joué comme une équipe en collectif, quoi.
Parfait. Une question en anglais. Just for our apparel partner, O'Neill's. They have this little gift for you. Probably should have taken this out first. Sorry about that. Alors ça c'est pour vous, jour du match.
Thank you very much.